Streamlining this candidates. This session is sponsored by our friends at Qualified. Thank you to the Qualified team for underwriting the community today. Yeah, so with these things, I know they have some questions prepared, but panels, I really love to see hands up. I want you guys to join the conversation too. You don't come here just to listen all day, right? And so I'll have a mic. I'll be running around. If you want to make eye contact with me, that you want to jump in with something, please do. Otherwise, we'll also have time at the end for some audience Q&A as well. Sound good?
Awesome.
Johnny boy, get on up here.
Woo-hoo! Good morning. Doesn't Kyle do a great job, everybody? Isn't he great? Let's hear it for Kyle. Please have a seat. So we are going to have a conversation, truly a conversation that you're just eavesdropping in on. So if you, as Kyle said, there will be opportunity to ask some questions. Make a note or two of some of those questions in your phone. I will believe that you're taking notes, not that you're surfing or swiping left or right for your festivities later on. That will be part of what's happening here. I want to give these two friends of mine an opportunity to introduce themselves, if that's all right. So we'll start here.
Absolutely. Good morning, everyone. My name is Amber Spagel, so I know the last name's intimidating. It rhymes with bagel. That's the best way to remember. And I'm the Director of Human Resources for the Talent Acquisition Team at Mutual of Omaha Insurance Company in Omaha, Nebraska. Yeah. Any fellow Nebraskans here? Yeah, that's good. All right.
Two. The state's empty. Okay.
So before working at Mutual, I was with Universal Orlando Resort for about 15 years. So the question is always, how the heck did I end up in Nebraska? But I have family there, and working with Mutual has been an amazing experience, as has been working with Qualified to go ahead and get them a plug right from the start. So thanks for having me here this morning.
Awesome. Well, good morning again. My name is Jeremy Pasamonte. It doesn't rhyme with anything, so I have nothing to tell you there. I am the Director of Talent for a company called Cellular Sales. We're a sales partner of Verizon Wireless. So we are based in Knoxville, Tennessee. So there we go. I'm a local guy. Pretty much when you look at us, we are the retail front of Verizon. So when you go to those stores, that's what you see. So high volume, high talent, and so that's us. Yeah.
Awesome. So, my good on no, yes, no, yes, no, yes.
No, here. Yeah.
No, yes, no. Maybe my butt turned it off. Hold on. Nope, dead. Yeah, I can do that.
Also good. Sorry, what happened there?
No worries. Hey, much better. Hey, how you doing? You'll never find. Okay, so first question that we want to bring up, because one of the things, obviously, is some of you've already walked the lawn. You just see so many opportunities for technology, right? For adoption. How can this make a difference in our organization? When it comes to Qualify specifically, probably there's an efficiency component to this that mattered to you in the process, that you were either looking to solve for something that wasn't working or improve on something that was okay but could be better. So what was your experience when it came to efficiency when you look at this?
Well, when I started at Mutual, I had some recruiters that like to just send all the applications and resumes to their hiring manager without doing any pre-screenings. And I was like, that's what we're here for. We add value, right? But it was a lot of volume, especially for our call centers and claims areas. And so when this tool came along, it was, we actually got hooked up through our innovation team. They came and said, we saw this vendor at this session and we really think you need to have a talk with them. And Devin and Darian were amazing partners from the very beginning. And we got through the process with the technology, but now we can actually screen these high volumes of candidates before sending them out to the managers and make sure that we are sending along the best quality talent. So for me, it was about the efficiency. There's great efficiencies because you can listen to these pre-screens on higher speed. You can read transcripts. So it helps get those phone screens done in a much more efficient, timely manner. But it also helped us put a process in place where we were adding more value to the operation.
Jeremy, how about for you? Yeah, I think we hit kind of both of those. One thing I failed to mention in my intro, I've been with Star Sales for 18 years. So we've seen it from the start to the beginning. So from 200 points of presence to 800. So with that, the talent's increasing consistently. So when we went to market looking for a source, it was again top funnel, like a lot of us do. How do we do it and how do we standardize it? So we did give you kind of an outlook. I have 85 recruiters across the country. So we operate in a decentralized model. So a company like Qualify was essential. We were looking at this resume flow, and we knew internally that there were rocks and stones that we weren't overturning. So Qualify has really come into play to help us standardize that. So prior to Qualify, and while we were looking at an alternate, was we had on our top funnel a video screen versus an audio screen. And it didn't please me. You know, we kept using it. Maybe we don't use it properly, but the biggest problem we had that Qualify was coming to fix was our completion rate. So we were in the teens as far as completion rate, top funnel, right when we look at paper, and we went to 30 to 40%. So we doubled and almost tripled the top funnel activity. So that was really what the fix was. It was like, how can we do something, have a standardization, and have candidates complete it? Because a lot of us know sometimes that video is an intimidating aspect of top funnel before we really get to sit eyeball to eyeball them and do our behavioral interviews and whatever's in your process. So we needed that first step, and they were willing to come in and do it. They even took an extra step for us because we have so many recruiters out there. And much of us know we can read faster than we can listen. Yes, they have the audio that you're looking at, but they were able to develop and incorporate the transcript that submits it right to our ATS. So we not only have the audio in there, we also have the transcripts in there, which has been another big time saver for us.
Yeah, and just out of curiosity, those that are here, are any of you using any type of tool that's doing some of that initial screening for you or giving you an opportunity for that? Just hands up if you are using anything like that. Okay, I see some of that. Okay. I think it's helpful because that's not the majority, right, that are here. So it's probably good to hear some of that context from you. And I don't know, what are your recruiters count like for you? Do you have a number of recruiters that are working for you?
For me, it's about, we have 9 recruiters that are working at Mutual.
Okay.
So for us, like I said, it's about 85 throughout the country. So some markets have several, just depending on the population.
Right. And so sort of centralizing some of this, having some of these tools, I would assume is, especially that kind of number, is pretty helpful.
It was very helpful. You know, we had the analog approach. We were attempting to do phone screens for us. That was our top funnel activity. So phone screens, as we know, they take time, candidate response times, who's working. Obviously, we're looking for those underemployed candidates, all of us. The unemployed respond a little bit faster. But trying to coordinate that time that was very difficult. And we needed a platform where they could go in anytime, whether they're on shift, off shift, after hours. And this enabled us to do that without hiring additional staff. So that was really what we were after. We didn't want to bring on someone just to do top funnel sourcing. How can technology help us and still give a candidate experience that they're comfortable with? It's new, yes, but they're comfortable with responding, and they were reviewing. And we all know time to fill, especially this day and age, is essential. So us being able to touch everybody within 24 hours is marked improvement for us.
Yeah. And as an HR person, I just want to make sure that I say context matters. So him saying touching everyone in 24 hours is probably not something on HR that they want to see. We mean that in a different context. If we make sure that it's clear.
You can't take the nostril out of the boy.
Yes. And by the way, there are seats up here, up front. If anybody's standing in the back, you're not going to interrupt. Please come on up front and sit. But Amber, I want to go to you because something Jeremy said. I'm curious for what your experience was. Whether you used video-related platform technology previously or not, what is the audio-only component? What's that meant to you in the process? And do you see the difference even in candidates sticking with the process?
Yeah, absolutely. So we did not do video previously. Our legal department didn't like that because of potential bias from, what your background looked like, what you look like. So we jumping into the audio, they were more comfortable. Obviously, we're doing a lot of call center work. And so just the value of being able to hear what these people sound like on the phone when they leave their recording has been a huge, yes, the questions help, right? But do they sound peppy? Do they sound, they have a good tone voice? Has really helped improve the quality of our customer service and our claims associates. So, and I just want to mention too, because you mentioned candidate experience. When we first went into this, I had a little bit of a nervousness that this was gonna, what were people gonna think about talking to a recording, right? Instead of talking to a live human. And so we actually put a survey in place for everybody that went through the Qualify experience to give us feedback for like the first year that we have been partners. We've been with Qualify for 4 years now. And I was just looking last night in preparation of today, and the scores that we got back, like 95% of the people that responded were comfortable with the experience. We did have a few people who said, can I sell myself as well to a recording as I can to a person? Maybe not, but it's the, not the majority of people were, people were really bought into it and they liked the convenience. Like people were saying, I can do this at 10 o'clock at night after my kids go to bed. I don't have to take time out of my work day. I don't have to, try to do this while I'm doing my grocery shopping. And so it's a great tool.
One thing I'd like to add, like I failed to mention, is when we took on this new part of our workflow, one thing we didn't expect was we thought, we have 85 talented recruiters out there, and we felt like we were doing that resume screen appropriately. We were selecting the best candidates on the top funnel section. What we did figure out, though, was sometimes with skills-based hiring, if we're looking at the resume, it might have been a no, because we just have the black and white, the paper. But we have made about 6% more hires using this, where we wouldn't have said yes to on just the resume itself. So it was enlightening for me and encouraging for me to say, hey, maybe we're not as good as we thought we were looking at the resume and looking what talent makes sense, because sometimes hearing responses to questions is more valuable than just reading what's on the resume. That was our experience.
Yeah, it's a great call out too. Honestly, a kind of free exercise that some of you, especially if you have a larger recruiting pool in terms of professionals, have them write up their own resumes, take their names off and some giveaway information, and trade it amongst recruiters and see if that person would actually get hired for the job that they have. You'll be surprised how many resumes are passed over of people who are currently there, because we don't always write the best resumes for ourselves.
That's right.
Right? So having another outlet, like what we're talking about, being able to sort of open a door that perhaps I'm hearing something in someone that I would have missed in just the black and white of the resume, I think is a great call out.
Great.
One of the things, I think, Amber, you said you've been using Qualify for, is it 4 years? So what was the implementation like? Because 4 years ago, and where Qualify is today was probably a little different. So was implementation horrible? Doesn't matter if it is, you're safe. You can say that.
Well, I'm happy to say it was probably one of the easiest implementations I've been through. The great thing about Qualify is 4 years ago, it was a little bit of a different platform than it is today, but that's because they listened to our feedback along the way. And my recruiters would say, gosh, it'd be nice if this would do this, you know? At first, maybe all the phone screens went into like one queue. Well, we'd like them to we'd like to be able to access each other's candidates. A week later, boom, now everybody can get everybody else's candidates. So I honestly, and I'm not, there's a lot of great vendors here at RecFest, but I've not had a company be so receptive and responsive to the feedback, and the implementation is super simple.
Tell me about your
Yeah.
application.
I would echo that. I think Amber's spot on. We haven't been with Qualify as long. We've been with them between a year to 2 years at this point.
Just to, I'm sorry, contextually, you left the platform, yes, to come to this
I did not. I had a different platform, a video platform for my top funnel activity that I was utilizing.
before?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never left Qualify. Have been consistent with it. One of our things as far as implementation, to just kind of echo what Amber's saying, is, you know, we are in 90% of a retail space. Gives you an idea of who we are. Many of you probably represent companies like that. And another piece that we wanted them to help us solve was, for this top funnel activity, it takes a lot of energy and activity, whether you're listening, whether you're reading, whether you're doing the phone screen, whatever activity you're doing. We wanted the ability to say, hey, if this applicant has applied to location A, if they apply to location B, is there any possibility that you can transition that over to that application? So they worked on it, they accomplished it. So now what happens is, if an applicant comes into our process and we have screened them on the top funnel through this product or otherwise, if they apply to that next location, all of that data moves to that apply. So we're not having to re-qualify them, pun intended, but it's submitted right over, and we look more organized, right? Because we're not organized, us. So this helps us look organized, and they were able to do that. So they looked at the development. They said, "How long do you need? What do you think is acceptable?" So that was a big win for us. So we're not duplicating our efforts, which costs money.
Listen, the appearance of efficiency sometimes matters as much as really being efficient, right? So there's value in that, but ultimately what you're talking about really is some specific efficiency that you've experienced, right?
Yeah, without doubt.
So I'm curious if there's been any metric on your part regarding a diverse and inclusive workplace, in the way in which having a platform like this has either amplified those commitments or enhanced them in some way. Is there anything that you have to be able to speak to that?
Yeah, I can answer that. So one thing that I didn't expect, we were using video, and as Amber said, her counselor didn't want to go that route for obvious reasons. I felt that sometimes with our video platform. So in one of our areas, New York City, one of my market recruiters has been with me for a long time. He was excited about this. And so, what excites you the most? He said, you'd be surprised how many candidates don't want to go on video because you're going to see who they are, what they represent, and make a decision before you really know their skill set. So it's improved that part of the United States for us. I was more worried about internally our decision making versus candidate coming in and worried about how we decide. Does that make sense? What I'm saying? Yeah. So again, didn't anticipate it, didn't even think about it, but it was a win for us. So.
I don't have like an exact percent, but I can tell you that the diversity in our frontline operations is really, meeting our targets, and we're really happy. And I think it has everything to do with the fact that you really are getting this chance to express yourself and why you want to work for the company and what you can bring to the table without the bias.
Thank you. I want to take a minute for any questions that maybe you have, and we have a Kyle, the mic runner,
I'm more than just a beautiful face.
much more.
Pretty beautiful.
That last point you shared was great. You are pretty beautiful. Because I was curious and you went right to it. I'm curious to know for qualified, does it spread over a global phase? We're doing a global organizational change right now and also battling internationally, especially in EMEA, with what we can ask people to do and what we can't. That data been shared. So I'm excited about the audio piece. But I kind of wanted to hear if you run into that, does qualified go across the waters and all of that?
Yeah. I'll speak for me, which is going to be I can't answer you. I'm a U.S. based organization, so I do not use it globally. I don't know if Amber can answer that.
I
It might be better directed at a qualified, actually qualified employee. So sorry about that. Wah wah.
They're in the back of the room. We'll get in the chat with them.
Yeah, did you hear that team qualifying? We got a person with a question.
He's
about
right
your glove.
in the gold chain
With that
and
giant
the bucket hat. Yes,
real gold chain.
real gold.
You can tell it's real, so it looks like plastic. Any other questions? Yeah, right here.
Hello, love the pandas.
Thank you.
And my question was, have you noticed like feedback from the candidates from your prior experience with the video platform versus the use of Qualify?
Okay, yeah. I can tell you with video that, and it's not all, but we had our completion rates, like I said, were in the teens. So I think that speaks volumes, right? I can't really get and quantify why they're not completing them. I can assume a lot of things why they're not completing. Maybe it's the technology, maybe it's the idea of being on the camera, etc. But when it comes to qualify, I've had many, I'd say many, probably 20 to 25 engage with me because it allows them to engage with me or once we meet in person. And they were excited and energized. They said, we've never seen this before. And they thought, wow, it's pretty progressive to do it in this fashion. And it was all positive response. What I can also tell you is I haven't had a negative response to date. Again, I'm between 1 year and 2 years, which is kind of surprising because usually when you do anything when it comes to technology, you're going to get some folks that don't want to participate or don't like the question. You know, I've seen it all on the other platforms, but it's been an all thumbs up to this point.
Oh, yeah, wow, we've got a lot of hands. I'm going to come with this one.
So I guess for my team or my organization, it's a global organization, but I'm doing all of the North American recruiting. But I'm going from entry level data analysts to VP and global directors. Have you seen higher success rates with the lower level candidates versus the higher role candidates, or are you using it across the board for all level roles in the first place?
So we made a decision that we would stick with the frontline associates for this tool instead of, and do the in-person screenings for your manager and above roles. So we've not tried it on any of the executive or management positions.
Yeah, we're similar. We use it mostly on our high volume or evergreen roles. That's where it's really an advantage for us just because of the high volume. And so I keep conscious compare between that and whether it's C-suite or executive level interaction. But to your point on the high volume for your front lines, that's where the secret sauce is for us when we've been using it. Did that answer your question or I might have missed?
Yeah, just to give the context, I'm starting a TA team from the ground up in North America. Globally, we have a recruiting team that they've had since the initiation of the organization. But North American wise, I am the sole team. We're bringing on 5 new people in January, but I do every bit of screening, high volume all the way to, and that's why I'm like, the time it takes, I'm managing 20 roles at any given time. So.
Yes, it's what the technology has been able to do to qualify is our time to fill has decreased, right? But the biggest thing is our time to first contact right? Our ATS, like yours, sends them an email, kind of a stock email. But right when this engages, it's the first step. It's the top funnel of our interview process or screening process. So, and it works like I tripled my staff, quite frankly. The way that it interacts, they partner with some AI vendors, and I field tested it, and we have our own marketing team, as you would expect, our own creators. And so when we put the questions together, these gents said, hey, just do it, do the AI question, AI as far as voice goes, right? And I said, okay, I've heard them before, they sound robotic, all that. And when I field tested it, not one person, they're sitting there telling me names of my organization. Oh, that's Katie's voice. Oh, and it's not. It's kind of amazing, really.
Yeah.
And the ability to kind of change that from personalities.
Awesome.
Was there any drop-off percentage for candidates that got to the point in the process of application where they do the automated phone screening? Was there any drop-off in candidates?
Yeah, there is some drop-offs, but we're in a world right now at Mutual where we have more applicants than we know what to do with. And so I see it as like, if you're not willing to go through this hurdle, then you probably weren't somebody we wanted, on our team anyway. So we don't look at it as a negative.
Right?
I know.
She said it.
You don't want to go through the process, then this might not be the right role
Yeah.
for you.
Yes and no. Okay, so recognizing that potentially could. So, my philosophy and our team's philosophy is we in our business, referrals is very important to us, right? Like many of ours. And when someone comes into our funnel with that sourcing code, we give the red carpet service. So we bypass the qualified process because we want to make that first contact because we feel like we know them through proxy, right? So we're using it for new talent, source from boards, source from career fairs, those types of things. So if you want to rate candidates A, B, C, and the A being the referral, at least for us, we bypass it, with pointed reason. That help answer your question?
Are you with First Watch? Oh,
I know, right?
did you bring any of the food with you or any of that stuff?
You gotta go down the street.
Down the street, we'll wait. But but it's a great example because as you guys were talking about as well, when you have first line, as far as communication is concerned, some of that is important. And so having this opportunity to sort of preview some of that is helpful, right? So I think it's a great question. We have time for I think one more. So another question.
Anybody?
Yes.
In the back?
Yes.
Why the question's coming, let me tell you something else. This might be interesting to you. It was to us. We know about phone screen and we know about follow-up, right? And the time it takes. I think you were saying you're the sole. Hey, you have time for 10 minutes, 15? No, keep calling me, you're recording, you're doing whatever you're doing to track it. In qualified, you're capable to set up the reminders, right? So for us, we do it where we workflow to the state status because of the referrals. We didn't want everybody going to it. So with that being said, the reminder comes out both text and email. We know most candidates, they have a higher response rate with texting, right? We know that statistically it's the case. So the platforms allows that to go out and connect with them. They immediately hit the link and there's no additional logins. That was one of my other prerequisites with them because we are inundated between our ATS logins, all our logins. I said, hey, I need a platform. I cannot have them create yet another username because I think that's where a lot of the drop rate was for us, these multiple logins.
It's a great call. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. That's a great call.
You bet.
Do you have a Kenny logins or?
All Kenny logins.
All right.
Well,
It's all 80s here.
I mean,
We got another question back here if you'll let me.
Okay, Jeremy, you're kind of going into my question, just like the workflow and order operations and how you guys manage it. I saw you guys use iSIMs, so
Yes.
I was also just like curious, like how you baked qualify into your active candidate outreach, just any kind of sourcing that you do to either use it as a tool like prompt them to finish their application or just to like keep them engaged with your brand or just to keep that stickiness, like, hey, let's
Yeah.
talk, you know, I don't know.
Yeah, we don't use Qualify for that purpose to kind of keep our brand in front of them. We utilize the ATS for that. So Qualify's more for that, you know, to complete the step, those reminder pieces. So and then because of how our workflow happens, many of you probably have as well. We have some job screening questions during the apply process that are a have to answer. So to your point about, you know, our outreach, kids that haven't applied through the various boards, we have to encourage them to apply first before we can start some conversations that we have. It's kind of our internal bugaboo.
Similar for you, Amber, as well?
Yeah, it's mostly a screening tool versus anything else. Yeah.
Question.
Hey, thank you all for being here. Let's hear it for Jeremy and for Amber.
Thank
Wow.
you.
Wow. As a special treat on your way out, we've got some folks from Qualify in the back with a case study for you that you can take with you as well to just help with some additional information. So thanks for being here, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. As you guys are walking out, I will say, like, at these conferences, they're always looking for people like you to come and share your experiences. Connect with the with the events team. Let them know if you'd be interested in joining panels. People are always looking for you to get up here too. All right, we're gonna take a break. We'll be back here in 15 minutes. 15 minutes. And I hear the bar is open already, which gives me a headache.
Still live. You want to recap? Go ahead, recap.
Qualify.